Yo, what's going on, guys and gals, Terra Knights? Welcome back to the channel. Akuma finally launched in Monster Hunter Wilds, and with it came a ton of combos that you need to learn and understand to be good with him. Therefore, I've created this guide for you today. Throughout this guide, I'm going to show you all of Akuma's combos, but I'm also going to show you some tips and tricks on how to perform some of his special actions without the use of the actual item bar. But let's get right into it. First off, let's talk about all of the actions that Akuma is capable of. On the item bar, you'll see 3 actions that are displayed, but there's also a 4th hidden action. First, starting off with the assisted combo Akuma. This is basically a combo starter for Akuma. You can mash the square button or the X button depending on your controller up to a few times to get a combo. As long as you start with the square or the X button, you can go into combos with the triangle or the Y button. The same can also be done with the circle button. But we're going to touch more on that in a moment here. First, let's go through all the other actions. Next, we have his Drive Impact. The 3rd action is his Gohadoken, which can be equipped like slinger ammo. It can be fired just like slinger ammo can. The final action with Akuma isn't actually on the item bar itself for whatever reason. Now, it's actually a gesture in the game, and you're going to need to set it to your radial menu if you want to perform it without actually doing the special Street Fighter inputs. But this is his 4th action, the Go Shoryuken. The Go Shoryuken has a few different properties that we need to talk about, but we'll get into the Shoryuken later on in the video. First, let's talk about all of the combos that Akuma actually has with his assisted combo. The thing to understand about these combos is you always have to start with the square or the X button, as that is what actually starts the assisted combo Akuma item to allow you to use all these attacks. Now let's go through every single button matching combo that we can actually use. First up is square, 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 or XXX. Next up is square, then triangle 3 times, or X and then Y 3 times. Next up is square X, followed up by circle or B 3 times. Now we're going to start mixing some of the buttons together. Next we can do square, triangle, circle 3 times, or X, Y, B 3 times. Finally, we can add a second press of the triangle or Y button to this combo. And next we can add another press of the triangle or Y button to get a 7-hit combo in total. Now we can start adding extra button presses to the beginning of our combos, meaning we press the square or the X button an extra time. And just like before, we can also add the triangle or the Y button in the middle extra times as well. So we can go square or X 2 times, and then triangle or Y 2 times as well. We can also press square or X 3 times at the beginning, triangle or Y in the middle once, and then follow up with the Zanku Kyaku combo. And as you may have guessed it, we're going to add everything together here soon. So we're going to do square or X 3 times, triangle or Y 2 times, and finally into the Zanku Kyaku combo. And finally, everything all at the same time. Square or X 3 times in a row, triangle or Y 3 times in a row, and then circle or B 3 times in a row. And that's pretty much all the combos that Akuma is actually capable of with the assisted combo Akuma item button. For the most part. I'm sure that there's some working ins of some other button presses, but it's pretty simple. The main thing to pay attention to is that you have a square combo, the triangle combo, or the circle combo. But you'll notice that the circle or the B button combo, the Tatsumaki combo, has to be done at the end of all these button presses. What this means is that I can finish the square combo and go into the Tatsumaki combo as a finisher, but I can't start with a square button combo and go into the Tatsumaki combo and go into something like the Adamant Flame combo. It just doesn't work, and Akuma will simply draw his weapon. Next, let's skip over Drive Impact and talk about the Gohadoken. Like I said before, it can be equipped as slinger ammo, and you can fire it like slinger ammo. You can also charge up the Gohadoken for extra damage. You'll notice that the Gohadoken actually deals stun damage as well, so it can be used to knock out monsters. Next, let's talk about Akuma's special movement ability. This is known as his Ashura Senku. Now, the Ashura Senku doesn't look like much, but the thing to know about it is that it has iframes on it. The Ashura Senku can also be done out of assisted combos as well. You can move left, right, forward, or backward with the Ashura Senku. However, the backward movement has a very short distance traveled. Next, let's talk about Akuma's Drive Impact. You can actually spam the drive impact Onigoroshi as many times as you want, and the drive impact meter in the bottom right doesn't actually get used up unless it's successful in landing a hit. The first thing to understand about it though is that it has an offset attack to it. But as you can see now, we have to recharge on it. So you need to pay attention to how often you can actually use your drive impact. The drive impact also has another effect on it, and that it can be used to strike wounds and not be used as an offset attack at all. Whenever you have a wound on a monster, if you use your drive impact, you'll get Akuma's signature move from Street Fighter, the Raging Demon. Now let's talk about another Street Fighter signature move, the Shoryuken, and in Akuma's case, the Go Shoryuken. Normally the Shoryuken in Street Fighter has iframes on the startup, but in Monster Hunter it's pretty lacking, honestly. If you use the Go Shoryuken after any assisted combo finisher, finishers being the Gohadoken, the Adamant Flame, or the Tatsumaki Zankukaku, you can follow any of these combo enders up with the Shoryuken for a powered-up OD version of the Go Shoryuken, otherwise known as Overdrive Go Shoryuken. The OD version of the Go Shoryuken can only be done after these combo finishers. And now let's actually talk about some of the shortcuts that Akuma can actually use without the assisted combo button presses, and how to do stuff like actually perform the Shoryuken without the actual use of the radial menu. First off, the normal way to use Akuma's Raging Demon move is by using your drive impact. However, if we press the combo of square, square, triangle, then circle, or X, X, Y, and then B if you're on Xbox, all these buttons pressed in this order very rapidly will actually get us an Ashura Senku that actually launches Akuma forward and performs the Raging Demon for us. Now I'm going to turn on my controller camera now, as I'm going to show you exactly how fast you need to be pressing these buttons. You're going to see me press square 2 times, then triangle and circle extremely fast to be able to pull this off. What you'll see is the standing light punch and the standing light kick come out, but you won't see something like the standing medium punch come out, and you won't see something like the standing heavy kick come out. That's how fast you're going to be pressing this, as it's actually canceling the combo to go into the special input, or the Ashura Senku, should I say, into the Raging Demon. And so watch how fast my button presses are. Another way to do this is you can actually press the triangle or the circle button or the Y and B button, depending on your controller, at the same time. So you can press square or X twice and then press these at the same time as well, which might be a little bit easier for other players. Now let's talk about doing the Shoryuken in the middle of combos. As you saw earlier, doing a Shoryuken can be done by using the actual radial menu to do the Go Shoryuken emote. And when done at the end of any typical combo, you'll actually perform the OD, Overdrive, Go Shoryuken. However, there's another way to perform the Shoryuken input that comes straight out of Street Fighter. And as I am a Street Fighter player, this is exactly the reason why I busted out the hand camera. A Shoryuken input is typically done by pressing the right direction, then the down direction, and then the combination of these two for a down right direction, then following up with the press of a punch button. In Monster Hunter Wilds, the exact same can be done. You have to make sure to do it with your actual movement stick though, however. And so typically on a controller, it's going to look like you're flicking the stick right, then down, and up. So what we'll be doing is pressing right, then down, then back up to right, and pressing the square button afterward. However, you can't do it without the actual use of combos. The Shoryuken still does need to be done after any combo presses. But as you'll see here, if I perform right, down, right, and then punch, after any OD special move that Akuma has, we'll get the Overdrive Go Shoryuken. Now this input may be a little bit hard for people who are unfamiliar with fighting games, and so I'm going to provide a simple solution for you to be able to do this. You can actually kind of just mash it out. If you're mashing the square button, you can actually flick the stick to the right and then down over and over again repeatedly and keep mashing square. You don't actually have to be pressing the square button either though. You can press the triangle or the circle button, or the Y or the B button as well for the Go Shoryuken. And finally, the strongest, longest combo that Akuma actually has in Monster Hunter Wilds. Square, square, square. Triangle, triangle, triangle. Circle, circle, circle. Into Go Shoryuken! Wada! Wada! And that's going to wrap up Akuma, ladies and gentlemen. Truth be told, I actually wasn't very excited for Akuma, even being a Street Fighter player in the past, at least. But Akuma actually turned out to be surprisingly cool, and Akuma's entry into Monster Hunter Wilds does make me think that Capcom is testing out the viability of a fist weapon in Monster Hunter. But maybe we can get that in the expansion of Monster Hunter Wilds. For now, we're gonna have to deal with Akuma, and I really hope that everybody at home has been enjoying him. And I'll tell you what, I am now definitely an Akuma main in Monster Hunter Wilds, the 15th hidden weapon. But that's gonna wrap up the video for today, guys and gals, Terra Knights. I hope you had a good one. This has been Terrorizer. I'm signing off, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace!